Hey guys, Remaster Flex here. Oh man, I wasn't able to do this when Smackdown Live was on, but what a vicious attack that Randy Orton embellished on Jeff Hardy. That was one of the craziest attacks that I've ever seen them have Randy Orton do. At this point, Randy Orton has officially established himself as a heel, turning back heel, and I gotta say, watching that, especially watching him pull Jeff Hardy's ear, was very painful to watch. Just looking at it when I saw it happen, it was pretty insane because we've seen Randy Orton do a lot of vicious things in this past. We've seen him do a lot of things that was outrageous during his heel runs in WWE, but this is probably one of the top things that he's done in recent years. Um, a lot of people said this kind of reminds them of the 2009 Randy Orton or the 2000s. Some people even said it reminds them of the 2006 Randy Orton when he was known as the Legend Killer. But either way, this definitely has fully established him as a heel. And, I kind of found it weird because they mentioned how Shinsuke gave Jeff Hardy a low blow at Extreme Rules to win the United States Championship, but they failed to mention anything about Randy Orton and the fact that he came out after Shinsuke won the belt and literally kicked Jeff Hardy right in the groin and then left the arena. They didn't mention nothing about Randy Orton the whole night, so it's kind of like I kind of knew that once I saw Jeff going for the pin, it was just no way he was going to win the belt that fast. And everyone's aware that Jeff Hardy is suffering through an actual real injury. He's been dealing with problems, several different problems with his body for the last couple of months, and he's been able, I think, at least the last month or so, last 2 months at this point, he's been able to wrestle it off. Which I got to give Jeff Hardy prompts for actually not taking the time off and still as hurt as he is, as much pain as this man is dealing with, and to still be going out there and to still actually wrestle good quality matches. I really got to give Jeff Hardy credit for that because this match he had with Shinsuke was actually a really good match up until Randy Orton came out and attacked him. Like I said, just a really vicious attack that we seen from Randy Orton. A lot of people said that they're glad that Randy Orton's back heel because he was a generic babyface, but I think people tend to forget the fact that not long ago Randy Orton was just a heel when he was with the Wyatt family. When he RKO'd Kane on a random episode of SmackDown Live in mid 2016 and joined the Wyatts, that was like his heel run right there, even though the only purpose of him joining them was basically so that he could get inside Bray Wyatt's head. But that, in my opinion, was one of the best storylines that was even written up until they had him beat Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania in a very short and forgettable match that a lot of people said was mediocre. But up until that point, Randy Orton was a heel. So, the fact that people are calling Randy Orton such a generic babyface, they tend to forget the fact that the man was literally just heel earlier this year. And some people are making it even seem like this heel turn in Randy Orton is like going to really help his career down the line. But they tend to forget that Randy Orton has already made a name for himself, and he has nothing else to really prove at this point. Whether he's heel or babyface, to me, heel has always been his best persona because he's had a lot more moments. Sorry, guys, I keep doing it, but he has a lot more moments and things like that he's established as a heel. Who can ever forget the time that he RKO'd Stephanie and then kissed her right in front of Triple H? That was a moment that we can never forget. Who can ever forget when he did the plunt kick to John Cena's dad? And he actually did this in two different occasions. The first time he did it was actually in 2006 when they were originally, oh no, 2007, excuse me, when they were originally feuding with each other. And the second time he did it was about 2014 when they were feuding with each other leading up to the Royal Rumble. Who can forget those moments? Who can forget the thing he said about Eddie Guerrero, which I think was a little bit overboard. But he's had a lot of heelish moments in the past that have been some vicious things that Orton has done. But I think this one is over the top. I think him attacking Jeff Hardy on this past Tuesday on SmackDown Live, I think this was probably one of his best, most vicious attacks, because even me looking at him pulling Jeff Hardy's ear, to me, it nearly looked like that part was actually real. I mean, like I said, we know a lot of things that they do is scripted or whatever, but and of course it was scripted when do that. But I'm saying just watching his ear get pulled looked really vicious. It looked really bad. You could legitimately hear Jeff Hardy feeling the pain of uh of Randy Orton doing this. And the question that's in all of our minds is the reason why, or is Orton attacking Jeff Hardy, is that going to lead to Jeff Hardy taking time off, or is this just a way to actually set up a feud between these two going into SummerSlam, which would kind of be strange when you consider the fact that we all thought that after Jeff Hardy dropped the belt that he was going to take time off and finally give his body a rest. But I'm really interested to see what's going to happen next week on SmackDown Live, if it's going to go any further. I don't see Jeff Hardy coming back immediately next week on SmackDown Live. I don't see him coming back at all. I could see him like being out because of Randy Orton attacking him. I don't see him returning to SmackDown. I don't see them having him come back next week on SmackDown Live. They'll probably just have Randy Orton. Maybe Randy Orton might come out and cut a promo. Maybe he won't. That remains to be seen. But I'm really interested to see how much further they're going to go with this. Which kind of brings the question of where does Shinsuke lead in all of this? Because the question is, did Orton do this? Did they have Orton do this so that they can book a match between these three for the United States title? Which is kind of be weird because you got two heels here and one babyface. Or was this done so they can just literally set a feud between Jeff and Randy Orton, which a lot of people said this reminded them of 2008, but I think this is a little bit more vicious than 2008 was, because when they feuded in '08, that was a one-time deal where they feuded leading up to the Royal Rumble, but Orton didn't do anything like this during that feud, so this feud is a little bit more extreme than that feud was. So, a lot of people make a lot of comparisons, but I think this one is definitely a little more personal than that feud was. And like I said, I gotta give it to Orton because he had me for a second, had my mouth drop when I seen him pull Jeff's ear. It just looked really painful, very vicious. I think that this was probably the best ending, the way they booked it like this. Um, it was very dreadful to watch. It's going to be interesting to see if Orton is going to have some type of explanation. Now, a lot of people say that the reason that he could be doing this, or booking, and the booking aspect has a lot to do with the fact that Jeff actually beat him at Backlash. But at the same time, Jeff is not the person he dropped the belt to. He actually dropped the belt from to Jinder Mahal. See, this is the thing that's funny. People say that uh, his purpose for attacking Jeff Hardy, especially when he did Extreme Rules, is because Jeff took the belt off him. But they tend to forget WrestleMania 34. It was actually Jinder Mahal, because it was him versus Rusev versus Jinder Mahal versus Bobby Roode. It was Jinder Mahal who pinned Rusev to win the United States title, and Jeff actually beat Jinder to win the belt on Monday Night Raw during the Superstar Shakeup. So Jeff didn't actually beat Orton for the title. He just beat Orton at Backlash to retain the title. But because that was Orton's last time we seen him was at Backlash when he lost to Jeff Hardy for the to try to win the belt back, it made sense that Orton would attack him in that aspect. But like I said, it's kind of weird now because at this point, they're not really fighting for a belt because the belt is on Shinsuke Nakamura. And like I said, only way I can see this working is if they turn this into a three-way feud where this becomes like some type of triple threat match at SummerSlam. Otherwise, it kind of leads to question as to who Shinsuke is even going to face at SummerSlam, or if he's going to have a match at all, putting the United States title on the line. Because if this is one of those feuds where it's just going to be Jeff and Randy, and Shinsuke is kind of going to be an afterthought, it kind of makes the question of the purpose of giving him the belt in the first place. Now, of course, it was a good decision because Jeff is hurt and Shinsuke needed that. He most definitely needed that momentum, especially after losing multiple times to AJ Styles. Well, basically, they had a lot of bad finishes, and the only legit match that they had was at Money in the Bank where he actually lost legit. The other ones were countouts or or was either countouts or disqualification, just something like that. But this was the only legit loss he had to AJ Styles Money in the Bank. But like I said, a really high paced SmackDown Live. I really enjoyed most of it for the most part. But the thing that caught my eye, guys, that I had to really come on here and do a video of because I haven't done a WWE video in a while. I know I've been doing a lot of hangout stuff, but please, always stay subscribed to me because you never know when I upload next. And don't forget, wrestle's my number one thing, so that's not gonna ever stop. It's just, I have to find something big that interests me to do a video on before I actually do one. Before I just throw a video out like that, but and then I gotta sometimes think of ideas to do. But it was really vicious watching Orton do the things he did, and it looked painful. You can tell that Orton is a lot more comfortable being a heel. I remember back when he did actually turn back to a babyface, he was saying how he wanted to be a heel. There was a lot of talk of him wanting to be back, turn heel again. But like I said, I just don't get it. People will make it seem like he was babyface for so long, but they tend to forget that Orton Orton was actually a heel for the first part of 2017. Then he turned babyface after he turned against the Wyatts, burnt down the Wyatts, the little Sister Abigail place, and made Bray lose his mind. Was when he turned back babyface, and for the remainder of the year, he was babyface, and the only reason why people would say that his babyface run was mediocre, generic, was because of the people he was facing. I mean, the man lost like 3 straight times to Jinder Mahal, and then after his feud with Jinder Mahal, after his feud with Jinder Mahal, he really slipped out of the WWE Championship picture. He was out of that picture. Um, so I can see where the frustration go, or I can see where all the frustration is coming from. But at the same time, Orton was also doing this thing where he was basically coming out and RKOing everybody. So it was kind of like he was already like a tweener because he would just come out and RKO everybody. I remember the SmackDown before the Royal Rumble, he came out and RKO'd Shinsuke and Baron Corbin when Baron Corbin was actually still on SmackDown Live. So, like I said, I understand the frustration. People being glad he's back as a heel. Um, but, the way I see it at this point in his career, either babyface or heel, it's not going to stop him at all. It's not going to hurt his momentum, hurt his career, or anything. The man Orton is already pretty much done it all. He's already a Grand Slam champion. I believe he's already a Triple Crown champion at this point. Once they had him win the United States title, he became a Grand Slam champion. That was the only reason they gave him the belt, which is why he dropped the belt at WrestleMania, because they just gave it to him so that they could say that he was a Grand Slam champion, because that was the whole purpose of him winning the belt from Bobby Roode in the first place. But you know, like I said, this was a really brutal attack, a really insaneful attack, and it's going to be interesting to see uh, if Orton has some type of explanation. I mean, we all can assume what they will have his explanation be, but it was very intense, very brutal. This is the Orton that we know best, the Orton that is just vicious, that will just stop at any cost. This is the Orton that we really know, and the Orton that makes himself on the top of the edge. So, that's all I gotta say right now, folks. I would have done this 2 hours after SmackDown Live ended, but I'm about a couple hours off. So hope you guys watch this video, enjoy it. Stay tuned because there will be more wrestling videos to come. When I do them, everything I'll stop because I'm not. I just, like I said, I had to find the right time, right moment, but never gonna stop. But thank you guys for watching this video. Sign off, Raymaster Flex. Man, always remember to expect the unexpected. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys another time. Peace out.